Morning, how are you?
12-ounce cappuccino, please.
Dripping Springs is going through a lot of changes right now. It is developing like crazy in this time where there's a lot of weirdness in the market. So I want to go through today and talk about Dripping Springs, what's happening in Dripping Springs, what's coming to Dripping Springs, because there's some pretty big announcements coming. Now, a lot of times when I make suburb videos like this, people just don't watch them. I think this is a really important video to watch because it's suburbs like Dripping Springs that are going through this massive expansion that are going to have a lot of headache going forward in the future with all this huge development in the Austin area. Plus, a lot of people are moving to Dripping Springs for a lot of different reasons, and we'll go through all of those reasons in this video. So stay tuned, and I'm gonna enjoy this coffee real quick. I'm Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin realtor. Now look, Dripping Springs used to be a small town like Austin's quiet little neighbor, known for its rolling hills, wineries, distilleries, and small town charm. But over the years, it has started to change. It's now a booming development, a massive retail expansion, and skyrocketing home prices have once turned this little gem into the fastest growing area outside of Austin. But is that growth sustainable, or is Dripping Springs at risk of losing what makes it special? I'm going to break down what's coming up next in the Dripping Springs area and kind of what you need to know and what's going on in Dripping Springs. Okay, so first, Dripping Springs has seen an explosive growth in the past decade, and that's not slowing down. The population has nearly doubled, and developers are betting big on the future of this area. Two of the biggest projects on the horizon are, one, a new mixed-use development near Headwaters. In fact, right now I am sitting inside Headwaters, and now Headwaters is going to be developing for a while. What's really cool about this development is it's kind of halfway in between the Belterra Village area and downtown Dripping proper, right? So downtown Dripping is a really small little area. There's some cute boutiques and nice, mom and pop shops. What's nice about this area right here is they're actually going to be developing what's called Oakwood. Oakwood is going to be a mixed-use little development in here as well. It's going to bring retail. It's going to bring some shops. It's going to have the coffee shop here. That's one of the nice things about this area is you're still seeing some of these cool coffee shops. My favorite food truck is obviously Chingone's. I love that place. Obviously, you've seen me there quite a few times. But they're going to have like a soda shop. They're going to have a nostalgia American foods. And it's going to be cool because they're going to have squeezed lemonades, homemade milkshakes, slices of pizza, fruit, all this fun stuff. That's at the Oakwood Bar, which is going to be right here at the entry. Now, they just announced as well the name for the elementary school that's going in here. And hot off the presses, they have named it Wildwood Springs on a 5-to-1 vote. So if you didn't know that, that is what is coming here in this little pocket. Another spot that's popping up is called the Lookout Development. It's located where Trudy's used to be. And now this is going to be a 231 apartment complex. In fact, you can see this off 290. They're going to put some commercial space and increase housing options here for the Dripping Springs area. Okay, one thing that people are getting really excited about in this area is that the revamp for the HEB. Right now, it's about a 75,000 square foot building for HEB, and that services a lot of people. It's Henley, all the way up to Lakeway, down south. So it's a big area that this HEB covers. Now, you remember, we just put in an HEB on the east side of Dripping Springs, more of the Austin area next to Belterra. So this HEB is highly looked after, and people are excited about this. But this is going to almost double the size of that HEB, and I think it's really important. Now, developers are excited about this, and the locals are actually excited about HEB growing as well. I'm curious, for those that live in Dripping Springs, are you excited about the expansion of the HEB that is currently there? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. And I'm curious, so remember Dreamland? Dreamland was that pickleball court, golf course, that was all east of 12, right? That whole complex shut down and apparently it got purchased. I don't have any good news yet on what is going in there. I'm curious of what you've heard. I've heard people tell me there's a Costco going in there. I've heard people saying a Target. I've heard all of these rumors. I would imagine that what we're seeing in some of the other developments we're going to talk about, it's just going to be more multi-family housing just like this. the Village Grove. Now, this is just south of 290 and just east of 12. So right there in this little Village Grove area, you actually have the softball and baseball fields. So you have this like youth complex center, right? So the Grove is going to be a 531 unit residential subdivision spanning 112 acres south of 290 on Rob Shelton Boulevard. This development will feature townhomes, retail and restaurant spaces, trails and public parks, including a central 1.5 acre park dedicated to the city. Now, I'm curious what your feelings are with this development being kind of tucked away in this area, but their thought when they developed it was that people would be able to walk out of the development into the sports complex area and people would be a little more outdoorsy. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, but there's another section going next to this, and that's called New Growth. Now, New Growth is situated on 36 acres south of 290, so it's right next to that Roger Hank Parks Parkway, and if you know, there's also at the moment another apartment complex going in there. But what they're wanting to do is 288 rental townhome units alongside retail office space designed with a hill country modern aesthetic to foster a village-like atmosphere. These developments aim to blend residential living with commercial amenities, enhancing local conveniences. However, they also bring concerns about increased traffic infrastructure strain and the potential loss of the town's cherished small town feel. I'm curious your thoughts on these like rent-to-own areas or these rental areas, because I don't feel like, Dripping Springs, we're going to talk about some of the developments that are out here, but I feel like more people want actual housing out here versus rentals. You tell me. But there's some good news too, because as we are developing and growing in Dripping Springs, there are some new restaurants coming in, right? And this is what's tough about the Dripping Springs area is that the rental prices are so high that some of these mom and pop shops are having to leave, right? They can't sustain the prices. So what we're going to see is like the Belterra Village area, which is closer into Austin. Now, they got some major growth coming there, but closer to downtown Drip, there's also some really cool complexes and things coming up. So one thing that's coming in is Cousin Louie's Italian Restaurant from the hospitality group behind Mighty Fine Burgers and Tony C's. This will bring authentic Italian flavors to Dripping Springs, is what they say. So this is in that spot, kind of right next to the movie theater, right next to Chick-fil-A. And I always found it weird that they were putting another burger shop right there in that area. In fact, a sit-down burger shop. So I'm glad that this is going to turn into an Italian restaurant. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Now, the other one is Roxy's, which is a Southern comfort food restaurant from the owner of Salt Lick Barbecue, offering fried chicken, fried steak, chicken fried steak, and grilled meats. Now, this is actually going to be more towards Kyle area. The next is Shipley's Donuts, a Texas classic, finally coming into Dripping Springs. Now look, there's Dripping Donuts currently in Dripping Springs, which is great. I'm looking forward to a Shipley's Donut. I'm curious what your thoughts are because I love Shipley's. I think they do a phenomenal job. I know they're not a mom and pop shop. I'm just curious, would you prefer another mom and pop donut shop or Shipley's Donuts? The other is Short Mama's Bristo, which is a new local eatery transforming 6,500 square foot building into a cozy home cooked style restaurant. I'm curious, right now they have right down the road here, Homespun. I love their food, so I'm curious to see how Short Mama's Bistro is going to be, so you tell me if you're excited about that. And potentially Chewy's is coming, and that's going to be right across from the Belterra Village area. I've heard that this is coming, and then I heard they backed out. I'm curious for all my Chewy's fans, what's the update on this? Have you heard? I'm trying to go through and get as much as the information I can, but here's the problem. Real estate prices have soared, making it expensive for these restaurants and shops to lease the space. Some business owners have even had to shut down, including Mr. Gaddy's Pizza, which was here, and Chicken Express, both of which cited high rent costs. Currently, retail lease prices range between $42 a square foot and $48 a square foot for newer spaces, higher than many of the businesses can afford. Older retail spaces are slightly more affordable in the mid-30s range a square foot, but still it's pretty high. I think this is what we're seeing and why we're having problems getting some of these really good local mom and pop shops. I'm just curious what you're thinking about the Dripping Springs area for this. Dripping Springs is also facing a retail shortage because of the lack of options. Residents residents are driving into Austin, Bee Cave, and Sunset Valley. So all of these new little spots come in here are welcomed. So what are the pros and cons of living in Dripping Springs? Well, number one is the top rated schools. Dripping Springs ISD is one of the most highly rated school districts in Texas, attracting families looking for quality education. The other is that small town feel, which we've talked about. Are we going to lose some of that small town feel with all of these little developments coming in here? And in a second, I'm going to talk about some of the other neighborhoods that are in here. And there are some more affordable options in the Dripping Springs area. But the small town feel. If you go into downtown, check out the English bakery down there. It is actually fantastic. I'm gonna show you some of the clips of what we just actually saw there. They have really good sweets and they have really savory treats as well. And this is right there downtown. One of my favorite coffee shops, Mazama, is right downtown. And then right up the road from downtown is the new complex where my friend Chingone's is. There's a coffee shop there as well called Fairlane. So really great spots. In fact, a lot of times I try to go shoot content there. Well, what do you think about the small town feel of Dripping Springs? Are we losing that small town feel with all of the influx of people? And I am very careful to talk about Dripping Springs on this channel because I feel like it's like this hidden gem that we just still want to keep hidden. But as we've seen, many people are moving here. The area is home to some of the best breweries, wineries, and distilleries in Central Texas. I can think of a handful. Dripping Springs Vodka is one. Deep Eddy Vodka is another. Ghost Note. I love these little mom and pop shops of these breweries and small distilleries. What is your favorite out in the area? Treaty Oak is a good one as well. I love that place. I feel like every time you turn around the corner, you find some little tiny spot that's some really great brewery that has a good food truck. So let's get into some of the cons of living in Dripping Springs. The traffic is getting worse. With more people moving in, Highway 290 has become a major pain point. Commutes into Austin are taking longer and local roads are becoming more congested. I know the Y project, which is right at the tip of Austin, is finishing, but 290 is, well, not finishing. It's getting closer to completion, but I feel like every time they get a little bit further with the development, it becomes easier to get into downtown Austin. I think the challenge you're going to run into, though, is that we still need to expand 290, which on the books is to expand 290, just nothing in writing yet. Let's talk about housing costs. One of the things that I love about this area is that you do get some really unique homes on big lots, and those can be multi-million-dollar lots, but there is some new developments, which we'll talk about. But the median price for Dripping Springs sits around $695,000. That's higher than it is in the Austin area, right? In Austin, you can get a 3.2, 2,000 square foot home in around $500,000. Now you can get that out here as well, and we'll show you some of those developments, but like where I live, the median price is right around $950,000. I'm not going to tell you which neighborhood I live in because I don't want you to come visit me that badly. But if you are looking to move to Dripping Springs, give me a shout because we could definitely help you find the right home in the right area for you. Water is a huge issue. Water and environmental concerns. Dripping Springs has long struggled with water access and wastewater management. In fact, not too long ago, there was a temporary moratorium on new housing developments back in 2022 because of wastewater limitations. That's since been lifted, but the challenges remain. Can the city's infrastructure handle all of this growth? Now, it is harder for small businesses to survive, so this is another problem. I'd say the biggest issues with Dripping Springs is just going to be the traffic getting in and out of downtown. So what does the future hold? Well, I think that the city is really pushing hard to start seeing growth now, and they're really embracing some of this growth, but they're not embracing it like cities like Kyle. Kyle really dove into the growth. I think once we start to see the widening of 290 and some of these things, you're going to see it get a lot better. I'm curious your thoughts. All right, let's talk about some of the neighborhoods that you might consider. So if you're looking at new construction in the area, there's quite a few, like Parton Ranch. Parton Ranch is still building in their new section, but they're going to be $1 million homes on larger lots. This is still in the Dripping Springs school district, but it's kind of on the edge of Austin. So that is one option. In fact, I've done some videos on Parton Ranch, so that's one to look at. Maybe an established neighborhood like High Point. High Point is gated community. You're gonna get homes kind of on the 900 range. Now there's some of the older homes that are like the early 2014s. You're gonna see some of those homes on the market for anywhere around 680,000-ish up to about $1 million. Okay, so that's an established neighborhood. If you want more new construction, where we're at in Headwaters. Headwaters is a little bit closer into Dripping Springs. This is a great spot, but I'm looking at all the homes in the, like they have new construction being built, and those are up to about $1 million. So $1,070,000, $1,010,000. Now, like we've had clients that are just negotiated $75,000 off the price in this neighborhood on new construction. So there are flexibility there, but you're looking at on the low end in here about 575 in here in Headwaters. But again, there's going to be a new elementary coming in here. There's new food places coming right outside the front. So pretty awesome spot, but there's a lot of inventory in this neighborhood. Another neighborhood that's a little bit smaller, close into each other, like lots are closer, is going to be Big Sky. Now, Big Sky, you can get, so like this house right here, a 2,000 square foot home, 3-bedroom, 3-bath for $412,000. Big Sky is a great option. Now go across the road into Heritage. Now Heritage has brand new homes by MI, by a couple of their builders, and those are also under 500K, about $482,000. So there's some good options in there, and the HOA is only about $50 a month. Now one of my favorite neighborhoods, Calaterra, you can still get in there, you know, with resale properties kind of in the 600s. But the reality is those prices have really bumped up into the 800s, 900s. Now, the cool thing about Calaterra is there's a lot of green space in that community. So there's a lot of options there. There's actually a couple custom neighborhoods where you can get 3-4 acre lots. I do know of this neighborhood. So if you want to reach out to me and talk to me about those, you have to buy the lot and then you have to build a home. So you're all in looking probably $3 to $4 million for those properties. But then you have like Bunker Ranch. Bunker Ranch, you can get in there to at $1 million. Only thing I don't like about Bunker Ranch personally is that all the fencing is see-through, so you see your neighbor. So you spend $1 million to look at your neighbor right behind you, and then you're spending a ton of money on all of the trees and stuff to block out your neighbors. Esperanza is a good option as well. Esperanza, you're going to get 3/4 acre lots, but those again are going to be up into the $1 million price point. So those are a little bit closer into off of 12, off of in proper Dripping Springs. So if you want to reach out to us and talk to us about some other areas, maybe in Dripping Springs you want to be. The information's below. Jeremy Night Group, your favorite house realtor. What did you think? Did you share this video with somebody yet? Did you like the information? Is there another area you want me to talk about? Tell me in the comment section. We'll talk to you soon.